So it's really hot in Connecticut, and it feels good. And also, I just got a haircut too, so that's pretty good. I am making this video because I wanted to talk about how God wants you to focus on just doing things without trying to have the outcomes, figured out, like too early on or something like that. You know, like, I think the most important thing is that, you know, you move despite like any, you know, confusion or anxiety or whatever. I think it's very important to just sort of focus on just doing things from a place of like honoring God and knowing that every single intention that you have is for God. And to, I don't know if you guys can see me, but right there. Yeah, so generate capital for God and do your business for God and exercise for God, everything for God, everything for the glory of God. And when you're doing things like that, you know, first of all, you're pleasing God because everything is for Him and He sees that. God is a person who sees you. He's obviously God and everything, and He's God and He's almighty and powerful, and there's no name above Him. But, you know, He can relate to you. He's intimate, you know? And He knows every single thing that you are going through in your life. He knows what you're thinking. He knows every single thought that you have, which, like, it brings me to my next point of, like, don't think that just because you're going through a hard time that God's not in it, that somehow God left you or something. If anything, God's in it even more, because He is allowing you to go through a hard time, but it's ultimately for His glory, right? Like, He's making you stronger through these difficult times, if you're going through a difficult time or anything like that. And He's showing you how to do things in a different way, in a way that glorifies Him. So I think one of the most important things to remember, so going back to my original point, is do things from a place of, you know, wanting to please God and wanting to show Him why, you know, you want to build things for Him and to help people and to be in service, and everything like that. I think that when you do that, you're better off creating things of value to help other people and everything, despite any confusion or anxiety or something that you may be feeling, because these things are normal. It's really just about moving forward, trusting God, knowing that God has your back, knowing that God is truly with you in every single case. Like, no matter how hard something may feel, like, no matter what goals you have, no matter what things you want to achieve, no matter what it is that you want to accomplish in your life or in this season, rest assured that God is literally with you, and He sees those desires that you have, and God is going to bring it into your life when you're ready. And so first He needs to prune you. He needs to, like, you know, show you how to become a stronger person with more character and everything like that, with more authority. And so that's something that, you know, I've been learning and everything like that recently, and I wanted to make a video about this. And yeah, I mean, I think that God's been really showing me a lot of things that in no way at all I could have ever even imagined learning on my own. Like, honestly, like, before, I remember I was like, you know, in new age spirituality and stuff like that, and I remember, gosh, I was just so naive. I thought that, like, everything revolved around me and all this stuff, and I realized that was like a tactic of the enemy. And, you know, it was a tactic of the enemy so that, like, you know, in the future, when you know, things got better or something like that, he could then, like, accuse me or something of like being arrogant or something like that. So the point is, you know, when you are with God, He will really show you things that no one else could ever show you, that you can't show yourself. Like, God, when you seek God for wisdom, that is the best thing that you could do, in prayer and and getting into the Word, reading the Bible, getting closer to Jesus. These things are life. There's no other truth. There's no other way. And a lot of people think that like getting closer to God or Jesus means like needing to be perfect. But I don't think that it is. And that's not even just my opinion. It's the truth. Jesus says, come as you are. And so Jesus is not asking you to be perfect overnight, or that once you start getting closer to him that you have to leave everything and be perfect all of a sudden. He's saying like every single trouble or worry that you have, just lay it on me, lay it at my feet, and just give yourself to me, like believe in him fully. And so that is the best place to be, because that is the truth. Not just the best place to be because that's how you'll get outcomes in life, and that's how you'll get good things when you believe in Jesus, because then when you seek the kingdom first, that's when he's going to give you everything. Not just for that reason alone. For the first reason to seek God is because he's the truth, and because through him we have life. And so I remember when I tried just kind of like doing business alone and trying to succeed alone and trying to be happy alone and trying to do all these things alone. And I remember just being so arrogant about these things and just kind of like, I don't know, trying to seek validation from other people, yet I was telling myself that I wasn't seeking validation from other people. And I was. So I was kind of like gaslighting myself, like, oh, I'm not seeking validation from anyone. I'm in control of everything, all this stuff. But that road leads to destruction. And I guess this video doesn't have a specific like purpose or anything like that. But yeah, I'm kind of just called to kind of just talk about this. Like, when I was trying to do everything on my own, I remember like it didn't feel fulfilling. It felt good to my flesh because I was an ego of like, oh, like I have everything under control and like all this stuff. But that's what makes it challenging to seek God, but at the same time rewarding, because you no longer feel like you need to try to control everything. Even though it might feel good in the beginning, eventually you break. Eventually, like, you do not feel good because you're without God. So seek God first. He will show you the way. He will show you how to accomplish the dreams that he has placed in your heart. He'll show you what things are not of him, and he'll show you what things are of him. You know what I mean? And it's like, when you see God, it's not all about like just being perfect, like I said. It's really just being in a place of surrender, and that's the best place that you could be in. So remember that you are just a human being, that you are not someone that has like all this power and everything like that. You have authority from God, and you have authority and dominion over this world. But when it comes to like the outcomes and like all this stuff and when it comes to the outcomes, you're what's going to happen in the future, only God knows, and only God is in control of that. So just be willing to give your life, to God and surrender to his plan, because he really has this. He's really got this. God is king. God is God. Jesus Christ is king. And I guess in the beginning of the video, I started off with saying like that, like, I forgot what I started saying in the beginning of the video. I forgot what I started off saying, but point is, just be with God in all things that you do. Like, just being in connection with him, talk to him and stuff like that. I think that he's talking to you all the time. He wants you to talk to him. And so you just got to get willing to kind of just, let your ego go and just be with him and be in surrender and stuff like that. In the beginning of the video, I started talking about move. So what I was saying in the beginning of the video was to just move through confusion, move through anxiety, push past it, push past the crowd, push past what people think about you, because Jesus moved past the crowd. He moved through the crowd despite what people thought of him. And so Jesus is a reflection of how we need to be today. Move past all of these things that the enemy has tried saying that you are, and tried saying that, oh, that's your identity, from shame and all this stuff, when really, no, it's a lie. When you feel anxiety, it's a lie. When you feel shame, it's a lie. When you feel afraid, it's a lie. It doesn't mean to ignore those feelings. Acknowledge that they're there, but under no circumstances give power to those things. Don't criticize yourself based on how you pull yourself out of a difficult moment. Don't criticize yourself don't criticize yourself on how you are pushing past challenging times. It doesn't matter how you push past challenging times and whether or not you're doing it perfectly. That's not the point. The point is to rely on God. It might look ugly, it might look messy, the way that God is showing you how to be strong and how to push past a difficult time. You might not get it perfect on the right. For example, if you want to increase your finances, you want to start a business, it might look ugly putting in the reps. You might not do things perfectly. You might mess up. You might screw up some things. But that's the point. We rely on God so that he can give us that wisdom to move forward. God's not judging you like, oh, you're doing this wrong. Like, you're doing this, obviously, like, you know, with discernment. Don't outrightly do things wrong, knowing that it's wrong. But with the best discernment based on what God gives you, right? And your discernment will increase over time. Move forward knowing that you're giving your best shot. Move forward knowing that no matter what it is that you're working through, even if it looks like messy, even if you cry sometimes, even if you're working through something and you're tearing up because you really want it to work and it really matters to you, still move forward, because God is not looking at you saying, oh, why are you crying? Like, why are you, doing things like this? Like, why? He's not criticizing you. Those thoughts of criticism and of like accusations and all this stuff, that is from the enemy. Do not be afraid of the enemy. The enemy, again, has no authority over you. God gave you authority over the enemy. Okay? So know that, And one of the things that I heard recently too is that, in knowing that you have authority over the enemy, don't necessarily like rejoice in that and like, oh, look, I have authority over the enemy. Just know that you have authority over the enemy, and so you can move forward and keep your gaze on God, knowing that, God is with you in all things. So I just wanted to make this video. Let me know what you think of it. Kind of just a rant. I don't even know what I'm going to title this, but yeah, I love you guys so much, and Jesus loves you more, and ciao.